Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Francisco again, and today we're gonna go over my results of the Trackman Combine. If you haven't heard of the Trackman Combine before, it's basically a standardized test on the Trackman system, whether you're doing it indoors or outdoors. It gives you shots from 60 yards, 70 yards, 80 yards, 90, 100, 120, 140, 160, 180, and then your driver. And it gives you points based on your proximity from the hole. So on a scale, 100 is the highest score you can get, and there's 60 shots. So if you can imagine, it takes a little bit of a toll on you, and depending on the speed on how you do it, and I wasn't too familiar with the Combine. I actually had done it once last year, not knowing what it really was and just futzing around, and realized how difficult it could be. And I ended up deciding to retake it when I felt like I understood it a little bit more, practiced a little bit more, worked on some things. But I've taken it again, and I'm approaching it in this sense, and it's probably going to be a different approach from how other people have taken this test before. But because there's 60 shots, if you can imagine, if you took a minute to hit each shot, it would probably take you close to an hour. And in my mind, if you're, say, hit 2 shots every minute, you're hitting 60 shots, it'll take about a half hour. And that's still a long time. It's constant swing, constant rhythm. So I think this test in total, it took me about 25 minutes. And that even feels like a little bit of a rapid fire. So I don't know if it's better for you in that sense to kind of get the rhythm and hit the shots, or if you feel like it's rushing too much and you got to slow down. I just kept going at a pace where I thought I could keep the most rhythm, where I could still do my setup and try to focus and dial in on those distances. And I'm gonna go through it shot by shot here and give a little bit of feedback, some commentary, what I was thinking as we were going through. Gonna keep the sound off, so you're really just gonna hear me talking about the shots, because where I do these Trackman things, it's a little bit noisy, and we don't want to hear any of that background guff. And this particular night when I was doing it, it was pretty noisy. So keep the volume down, and you're gonna hear me kind of go through it. So let's go through it right now. So it's 60 shots, first shot range. It's about three shots per distance. And you go through 30 shots of a round from 60 to up to hitting your driver, and then it repeats itself. So you get kind of like two sessions at each distance. So let's kick it off. We're gonna go to the monitor here. So let's take a look. All right, so actually I think I have my 60-degree here first to start. I'm not sure, maybe it's the 54, but I do remember I may have juiced one of my first shots too early and too far. So I may have like backed it up a little bit. So let's see. Okay, yeah, that one went almost 80 yards. So I definitely had the 54 in my hands, and there I am. I'm walking back now. I'm gonna go grab my 60. With these short wedges, I mean, at these distances, I'm really looking at just like, three-quarter, almost 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock swings. So the second one, second one was a lot better. That went about 65, 6. So, right around that 60-yard range. Got some good points for that. I actually got 0 points for the first shot, by the way. So, great start. Third shot just right on almost 60 yards, actually 92 points for that one. So as you can see, it's in the top right corner. It's going to give me like a running average of all the shots. So out of 3 shots, when I've scored 0, my average is 49. So right now it's telling me if I continue that trend, it's going to give me an 18 handicap. $70-yard shot now. I've moved to that 54. 88 points for that one. Landed it at 70.1 yards total. So, and I hit it fairly straight. So points were scored pretty high for that one. Second shot at 70 yards. Little long, 77.4 yards. Again, put it a little bit of a pull left, so I only scored 45 out of 100 points for it. So not the best shot, but as long as I'm not scoring 0 points, you're doing pretty good. And also, I think the name of the game for a lot of this is hitting it as straight as possible. I think a little bit of the factor is, you know, if you're gonna miss, at least miss straight. That shot, let's see, yeah, 73.9, so 82 points there. Eighth shot here at the 80 yards, 77.3. 84 points. All right, cool. And not bad, 82.5 there on another 80-yard shot, another 83-pointer, which is good. And nice shot here for 80 yards. Ooh, and see this one I hit way short, about 12 yards short, but the fact that I hit it pretty straight, I still got a pretty high score on it, 89 points. So, like I said, if you're gonna miss them straight, should score pretty good points for that still. Still looking at that first shot on the bottom where I scored a fat goose egg, not even coming close to that 60-yard shot, almost hitting it 20 yards over, so not great. So now we're at 90 yards here. Actually have looks like my gap wedge, just so I could still make that 3/4, you know, try to control the distance a little bit. Rarely I'll want to hit really full wedge shots. I'm not too keen on hitting full wedge shots anyway, so let's see how this one turned out. Okay, 92.5 total yardages, 89 points scored on there. So actually pretty good. So I've been trending in the 80s and 90s right now on points scored on my last 6-7 shots. So that's pretty good. And that's putting me now at a single-digit projection on the handicap. Second shot again, 91.4 on 90 yards, not bad, 87 points. And right now here, I'm still thinking about just controlling the distance, 3/4 swing, probably 80% of like swing speed, really just to kind of stay consistent and also just to conserve a little bit of energy because I'm gonna be hitting 60 shots in about 25 minutes, so there's going to be a little bit of fatigue there. And the last shot, 93.9 yards, not too far off it, 87 points again. Now we're moving into the 100-yard bracket. Same club, I'm going to stay with it. All I'm going to do is just kind of press down a little bit more on it, a little bit more swing speed, as you can see. Squeezed out a couple more yards out of it, but not the best, coming up 5 yards short. So you can see I suffered a little bit, only getting about 60 points on that one. Average is still, you know, projected result is still at 70 points, so that's not too bad. Second shot at 100 yards, 95. Again, in my mind now, I'm like, oh, I think I have to gas it a little bit more. So I think this last shot, I'm definitely gonna try to punch it a little bit more. I think I'm kind of being a little bit too soft on it. So let's see. All right, so I didn't punch it the way I wanted to. I'm still 5 yards short, but I still got 82 points, mostly because it was right dead on line, as you can see. So I'll remember that probably for next round to kind of speed through a little bit, get a little bit more swing speed. So now 120 yards. I think I've got a 9-iron here just so I can still, again, 3/4, try to flight it. Oh, you know what? My reaction there, I definitely had, I think, my wedge in my hands and trying to flight wedges. So now I think my next swing thought here is that I'm going to try to gas it a little bit. And a little bit more pace on the swing. Yeah, I think I'm realizing now that I'm not hitting it as well as I could be with this wedge. So I think for this one, I'm gonna do the same thing and just try to take a bigger cut with it and go even fuller and swing close to 95% and see if I can just carry it all the way to 120. I don't think that's gonna get there either now. Yep, I can tell that I didn't hit it solid. Yep, disappointing. Only got it to 110, so didn't score as well with the 120 mark. I only scored maybe in the average of 60, so that kind of hurts a little bit. But with the 140, I'm gonna get a little smart here. I'm gonna take the 8, and I'm going to do a definitely 3/4, about 85 to 90% speed here. And look at me just kind of like lining all my balls up, because in terms of like rhythm, I want to just be able to kind of like pick the balls and not be able to have to go and fish them out. It's similar to like if you were at an outdoor range, you could just pop the balls down. Here at the indoor, it's a little different. All right, I'm pretty sure I got the 8 here, so we're going for 140. That should get there. Yeah, so 141.7, flush on the line, came back, and I scored a perfect 100 points. So that would be the best shot you could hit on the combine, is 100 points. And it probably carried up to, I can't see the number, it's super small, but it probably carried 140 and just stayed down. That one got a little bit, oh, apologies. That second one got a little bit away from me. It looks like I stepped on it a little bit much, carried it fully, and took it a little bit farther out than I wanted to. So only got 77 points for that one. So let's see how the third one goes. A little bit off balance. I felt like I pushed that to the right, but it looks like I didn't catch it at all. But as you can see, it rolled out, luckily, short, rolled out, and if I missed it straight, I still got points for it, 94 points. So almost my second highest scoring shot, and I didn't even hit it flush. So it's all about how good you miss here on the combine. So now we're going into 160 yards. I'm pretty sure I've got a 7 in my hands right here. And for 160, I'm definitely putting a full pace 7 into this shot. Not as high as flight as I'd wanted to. It only carried 153.5, but it rolled out to 65, so not too bad. 88 points for there. Second shot here at 160. Little bit of a pull, little bit of a shot. little bit of a shut face means I'm going super far with it. So it carried a lot and rolled out. So a little bit of a downside on the points, only got 73 there. This one should be right on. Good carry, good total yardage, 85, mostly because it was offline, so not too bad. Now we're moving to 180 yards. This is where things kind of maybe get a little bit tougher. I know, particularly even before we get to past this distance, that I'm going to struggle with the driver. Driver's always been not great for me. It's the hardest club to hit in the bag, I think, personally. But first swing with the 180, I think I'm holding a 5 here. Yeah, and that one I turned over, came across shut, hit it low. Luckily scored some decent points just because I got it within a good range of proximity to 180 by getting it to 186, so I got 66 points for that. Not too bad. All right, second shot. Again, not ideal flight, little bit pull, too much roll, but not missing it too far off the center line. 77 points, not bad. Let's see if we can get one in the air here with some proper carry. That one looked okay. A little more balance. Nope. Pull again. Not a great showing with the 180 club with the 5. All right, here's where things will, we're gonna get a little bit messy for me, but in a sense, not the worst, but not the greatest. And definitely this is gonna be my biggest room for improvement here. Maybe a driver fitting down the line. Everything I play is pretty stock, and I get off the rack, XYZ. So let's see what we got. That's about as good as I can hit my driver there. 252 carry with rolled out to 280. So, and with a little bit of a draw and pretty close to the line. So that's as good as you'll ever see me hit a drive on film. So you might see that clip circulating a lot in the future. If I remember correctly, this second shot is not gonna be so great. Nope. Yeah, that one definitely had a little bit more of a shut face. The thing with this new driver that I have, which is the TaylorMade Stealth, is it's got a little better draw bias on it than the older stuff I used to play. So a lot of my lefts on the driver are going to be left when I actually hit it, and if I miss them right, that means my swing is all out of sync. So all right, third shot, final shot with the driver on the first half of the combine. And a low skank burner. Not great, 17 points scored, so you can imagine that wasn't the best shot. And like I said, driver's gonna be the weakest part of my game. But right now, halfway through, now you're gonna start over. You're gonna do all the shots again. And right now I'm looking at a 71.4, which is not bad. It looks like my projected Trackman handicap is putting me at like around the 3 right now. So if you're thinking about like, oh, is this a reflection of your actual handicap in real life? Absolutely not a reflection of your handicap in real life. It's really based to use when you're playing courses on Trackman, and how you can use that when you're playing against your friends. It's definitely just like another world, but it gives you a good semblance of, you know, what your kind of ability is and, you know, where your weaknesses are. So as you can see, my weakness with the driver. So right back down to the 60-yard shot, right into it. I definitely have gotten smart and went right to the 60-degree wedge and started with that. And now that you're doing it a second time around, you probably have a little bit better feel for all the yardages and know what to hit. So right now I'm dialed right into kind of the distances. So 77 points on the first one. I know where my hands have to be. That one, 57.1 yards, 75 points scored. And now for the final shot, or 60 yards. $65.3 yards, 60 points. Not too bad, not great. Still averaging projected 72.5 is the running total right now. So not too bad. If we can keep it right there, that would be pretty good, I'd say, considering we scored a 0 on one of the shots. 70 yards. Definitely went back for that 54. And juiced it a little bit. 10 yards over, too far. So not a good point scored. Let's see if we can tame that down a little bit. Really trying to just stop my hands right when I get into that 9 o'clock position and then pulling the club down. That one came around a lot better, as you can see. Carried 72, 74.5 total, and just straight on line. And same thing again, similar result. 86 points on that one, 91 on the first one. So now we're moving to 80. So now I know I just got to get my hands just a little bit higher past where they were. Keep the same speed. Give it 10% more. Yeah, not too bad. Got it to 75, so still comfortable in that halfway point between 70 and 80. Still hitting them straight, which is important. If you're gonna miss straight. I think that's a thing that a lot of higher handicap players forget, is if you're gonna miss, just miss them straight. So that one's a little bit better. 83.1 total yardage, 86 total points. And with the last shot at 80 yards, 72 points on that one. So right now running time is about 20 minutes and I've hit 40 shots in about 20 minutes. So hitting about 2 shots every minute, which is still a little tiring. If you're playing golf, you're gonna probably hit about 50 to 60 iron shots and driver shots as you're playing, and that's over the course of a few hours. Here you're doing it in a few minutes, so you're not getting much rest. So, and I will note I ran 23 miles earlier in the morning before this, so I was a little bit worried about being fatigued, but seems to be okay. That first shot at the 90 degrees, we're looking at, scored a 99 on that one, which is as good as that 100. That's our second 100 of the session right there. 90.1 yards carry, settled to 93.1, quite literally on the line, 100%, 100-point score. Not bad. Last shot at 90 yards. Don't mind the truck. 93 carry, 95 total, 89 points scored. So pretty dialed in at 90 yards, as long as I can straighten out my driver and get myself into wedge positions every single time. Could be okay. And we're gonna reset the balls a little bit, but in the meantime, At this point, I'm thinking about the driver, because that's going to be my Achilles heel of this whole round. I feel like I have a good grasp on the irons and the wedges, specifically, especially with the new clubs, with these new Cali 01 tees. They're giving me distances and control that I didn't get with my older forged blades as my handicap got a little bit higher. But now I'm noticing with these is my distance is a little bit more consistent, and especially with the misses, I'm missing them still to the right distance, which is the big thing. So up to 100 yards, I picked up my gap wedge. And I remember from last time, I, just needed to get a little bit at around 90% on the swing with here. So the first shot, 95 yards, got 84 points. Second shot here, hit the 100-yard mark, but it was very much pulled and offline, so that's gonna give me 73 points. So that's not the best, not the best. And the last shot with the gap wedge. That one was perfect. 102 carry, 103 total, sat right down on the line, 94 points. That's also a top 5 mark there for the session. 200s, 200 point scores, couple 99s, couple 94s. So not bad, but yet that's still fat goose egg 0 that we laid out on the very first shot is probably still killing us. But gonna move to 120 yards now. I think now I remember that I had a wedge in my hand the last time. So this time I'm taking the 9, and it looks like I'm just going to kind of do another 3/4, 85% shot with here, just so I can make the distance. Yep, definitely slowed it a little bit. Let's see how it turns out. Yeah, you can see I jumped it a little bit more. A little bit farther, but still got, I think, a similar point spread from last time. So I know I'm just gonna have to take off a little bit on these. And I like hitting 3/4 shots just because my swing is naturally a little bit shorter. I rarely make it to parallel. So with this second one, I definitely kind of flighted that one a little bit more. As you could see, it had that little flighted cut shape to it. 121 yards total, dropped it on the line, 92 points. And yeah, that's as perfect as like a 3/4 flight shot you're gonna hit. And for the last one, looks like I got a similar swing with that. That should be, oh, that was a little juiced, unfortunately. Came over the top of it, so a little shut face, a little lower flight. Still got 71 points. So now we're moving to 140 yards. Got about 11 shots here. 12 shots left here, and I remember feeling tired here. You're gonna see a couple more shoulder shakes out of me towards the end, but 8 iron here for sure. A little off balance. I was fighting it. Yep. Weight to the right, pull to the left. Tail as old as time. 69 points out of that. Nice. Good score. Let's see if we can keep this one a little bit more balanced. That one should be okay. Yeah. 44 carry, 53 distance, 92 points. So that was the one. And you could just tell when you watch yourself on camera afterwards and reviewing, like if the swings were good, body language, weight transfer, see where your weight finishes, all telltales. That one should be okay too. Last one at 140. Slight shut face. Finished at 149.9, 88 points. So just got docked for being offline. So Not too bad. 74.2 right now on the average score. Still hanging in there. As long as I keep this up for the next 9 shots, we should be in a pretty good position. So just gathering up the balls again because I like to keep them all in a row for this last session here. And it's been about 27 minutes of just nonstop concentration and ball yardage hitting. So yeah, a little bit fatigued, and this is going to fatigue anyone. So that's why it's a combine. And you know, I personally want to see this done in a reasonable amount of time, not taking like 2 hours to do it. All right, first shot at 160. Boom, right on line. 57 carries, 66 total, 98 points scored. So that is good as you can hit it as well. No, you could probably hit it better, hit it on 100, but looks like I was just a hair off the middle line. Second shot in. Same shape. I stepped back on it just because I thought I was off balance. I did lose a hair left. It did cut and work back in and still gave me a good result, 90 points scored. So good. Second time around, looks like I'm remembering some things. That one can't be good. Yeah, pulled it a little bit offline. Distance was good, but offline means less points, 81 points. So now we're approaching the last 6 shots here. 180 yards, back to the 5-iron, and then we're gonna go back to the driver, my weakest club in the bag, but we got 3 good iron swings left here. Trying to keep everything consistent with setup, pre-shot routine, especially when we're going this fast. So I always can see that one. I kind of waved off right off the bat. Knew it was shut, knew I came over, and you can see when you come over and you go low, it's gonna go far and you're not gonna get points. So only 65 points for that, even though I took it just only under 10 yards over target. Let's see if we got that one up. Yeah, now we just try to compensate a little bit and hit a little bit of an open face fade. Not too bad though. All right, a little technical difficulty as you can see. Change scenes, it's nighttime, but we're getting right back into it. So last shot with the 5. And I already waved it off left. It was a dead pull. Still only got 56 points, so. Now we're going to what troubles me the most, again, is the driver. So let's see if we can make some improvements. Now, I know the very last shot doesn't show the traces, so we're just going to try to pay attention to the stats when they hit the bottom of the screen. So let's see what we can do here. I think there's one of these I might sneak out to something decent, but let's see. A little extra care on the setup with the driver since it's the most different club in the entire set. Setup is definitely much different. That one looked all right. All right, not a turnover there, so I definitely just straight pushed that one. Straight push, no movement, but not terrible distance-wise. 276 total, 67 points though because it was so far offline. I don't think it even got measured on the line, or it just doesn't give a measure on the driver. The second one might be a little bit better. Let's see. Nope, that was a dead pull. If you heard the sirens, that's the police coming to arrest me for having a terrible swing. So last drive, I know I hit this one kind of decent. It definitely had the shape of a little bit of a draw on it, but it should get a decent score from what I remember. So let's take a look. And that's the combine right there. Final stats on the bottom. Yeah, so I think it was a low one. Rolled out to 275, 65 points. All right, not as good as I thought. So final combine score, 74.5. Projected handicap put me on the Trackman around a 3, which from when I took this test in May was an improvement. I scored an 8 back in May of 2022, so got some improvement there. But I guess the biggest takeaway is my irons were a lot more solid. My dispersion was a lot tighter, even on my misses, and that's an attribution to some more forgiving irons in terms of the irons I'm playing that are catering to like my actual ability and are going to help me with the improvement. So shout out to Cali Golf for producing a very solid iron that's helping tighten up my dispersion. As I said before, my misses are missing the correct distance, and when you can miss the correct distance, everything just gets a little bit easier. And if you miss them straight, which you saw has happened, it makes things a lot easier too. So very happy with those. That's the test. If you love what I'm doing here and want to get in tune with more stuff in golf in New York City, which I'll be doing a lot more of once the weather gets a little bit nicer here, just subscribe and stay tuned for more content. Thanks a lot.